Welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Circle Back podcast. It's especially special because we have Shelby White here.
Yeah.
This is the man behind the camera. We have him out today because we are talking about, we're basically doing a special episode and we're going to rank our favorite, basically we're making the top 15 PlayStation
Exclusive,
games.
yeah, exclusive
PlayStation
games.
exclusive games. So we have this big old list of our favorite PlayStation exclusives, and we're going to go through, pare them down. You've seen our other episodes where we rank the top whatever. We're going to pare them down to a manageable level. Then when we get to 15, we're going to write down 15 on these little sticky notes like we usually do. We'll put them down, argue about them, put them in order, yada yada. So, we'll start it off. I have a long list here I'm going to read through, and I apologize, but I got to read through. It's a long list, and then we're going to just start taking games off, all right?
Let's do it.
Perfect. All right, so it starts off Uncharted, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4. Oh, one more thing, forgot to mention. We usually do a thing where we only allow one game from each franchise. In this, because we're talking about franchises like Uncharted or like Metal Gear Solid, if we feel that 2 games from the franchise are in the top 15, then they're going to be on there. Mm-hmm. So we're literally doing, these are the best 15 PlayStation franchises. Right. From PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, Vita, PSP.
Yeah, anything that's Sony...
Any PlayStation exclusive. And again, these are not games that only Sony made. These are games that have, when they were released, they were only on a PlayStation console.
Whether they're ported now or not.
Irrelevant. When they came out, if they were exclusive, they're on this list. Okay? So the list that we came up with games that we like, and again, there's millions, there's thousands of other exclusives that we just don't have as fond feelings for. This is our list right now. Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4. Gravity Rush. Crash Bandicoot 1, Crash Bandicoot 2, Crash Bandicoot Warped. Spyro, the franchise. Gran Turismo 3 specifically, because we have some fond feelings about that one. Ratchet and Clank 1, 2, 3, A Crack in Time, and the PS4 remake. Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, Jak 3. Sly Cooper 1, 2, 3, 4. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Last of Us. Infamous 1, 2, and Second Son. Little Big Planet 1, 2, 3. God of War 1, 2, and 3. Unfinished Swan, Journey, Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII, we'll say 7, 9, and 10. Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Siphon Filter, Persona 4, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Tekken 1, 2, 3, Resident Evil 1, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Parappa the Rapper, Dark Cloud, Silent Hill 2, the old shitty Tomb Raider games, Heavy Rain, Final Fantasy Tactics, Until Dawn, Nier Automata, Twisted Metal 1, 2, and Black, the SOCOM series, Transistor, Pyre, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Guitar Hero 1. So, fat list.
Forgot about Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it's long.
Tons of games on this list, but what we're basically going to do is go through franchise by franchise to start, and just say, do you think any of these games are going to hang? Do we think one specifically is going to hang? Like, we're going to kind of go through and do one of those.
Yeah, we can talk about the pros and cons of what made each one different.
Yeah, of course.
Other
Yeah,
ones
and
series.
we're going to compare them to each other in the series, of course. But if we go through Jak and Daxter and we say, well, actually, 1 and 3 should be on here, then they stay on here. But that's just an example.
Let's do it.
All right, so we can start out Crash Bandicoot. The original Crash is a little bit different than the next two.
Definitely.
It's a little bit more basic. Doesn't have a lot to it, and I think the original can go. I think either 2 or 3 is what's going to be on.
I think 2 is probably the best.
2 is the best. I agree.
Well, they definitely like Crash was revolutionary, the first one, and then what made the other one so great is that they made it better. Like they were like, this is what's great about this game. How can we make it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Give you that little hub world in the beginning, and definitely.
And I think 2 with the hub world and with the fact that they have a bunch of different mechanics they add in.
Yeah.
Where Warped gets to the point where it may have like too many gimmicky levels. That's what I think. I think 2 is like the sweet spot. Personally, I don't know how you guys feel.
No, definitely. I mean, I love 1 probably just as much as 2, but like looking at it, trying to be as I think 2 was probably the squeaky cleaner version of the first one.
I think so as well. So we'll leave 2 on for now. Spyro.
All right. Well, we were just talking about Spyro. What's your take on Spyro?
You know, I don't know. Spyro's a tough one. It's just like you have all these games that were too similar to each other. Like there wasn't a big difference whatsoever. You know, like you.
Also, I think Spyro in general, even the best, whatever you're gonna say, the best Spyro is, I don't think it's gonna hang on this list. We're talking top 15 PlayStation games of all time.
I definitely don't see it 15.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying before, Shub. Like, with the Spyro games, it was kind of like. It's so hard even differentiating between, like, I couldn't tell you the difference between 1, 2, 3, just, it's the purple dragon.
Exactly, I couldn't tell you who the enemy was in any of them.
Yeah, no.
Like, that's the problem. It didn't have that lasting effect stick around.
It's sad to see it go because it is PlayStation, but...
Yeah, but... Yeah.
You know what? They sold out and started making all those crappy Skylander things, so it's like, you know what? Screw you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, although I do love Insomniac.
Yeah, Insomniac's great, and we'll touch on them again later on. But Ratchet and Clank,
one of my favorite series of all time.
Incredible series.
Definitely.
I love it as well. I think the games kind of got better as they went on.
Yes.
I think A Crack in Time is the pinnacle, but I also really, really like that PS4 remake.
Yeah. Now, everything you love about the first game, like that PS4 remake, was just like went right back into it. Same storyline and everything, but it
just upgraded it, made it more playable, made it better looking. It was really good.
Exactly.
And those cutscenes literally look like a Pixar movie. Like,
they're perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember playing it because it came out before the movie came out, so it was one of those things, how like the cutscene would come up and it would say gameplay recording is not allowed because it was the movie.
It was the movie.
So it was like, so that's what made it so awesome. Yeah, I'm sitting there, I was like, oh, sweet.
So if we're talking between Crack in Time, PS4 remake, and again, we don't have to differentiate the two, but I think if we're talking top 15, it's not likely that 2 Ratchet and Clank games are going to be on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Do you think Crack in Time should hang on, or do you think the remake?
It's tough because everybody loves an origin story, so the PS4 remake was just a better retelling of the origin story, which was so good, which like grounded the series.
Yeah, it was fun to get to know these guys.
Exactly, but as you talk about it, like each game seemed to get a little bit better with everything, and then A Crack in Time, I completely agree with you, was the pinnacle of like the storytelling. Although for a good portion of the game, Ratchet and Clank, they're not even together, But that's what I think made it so
interesting,
good, because you're going across 2 storylines that intertwine the whole time.
I would say I would vote to keep it with Crack in Time over the remake.
I do agree with you. I mean, I love
like
the whole
remake
thing.
a lot.
Like you finally get those jet boots. You meet another linebacker. Like it.
No, it's
A Crack in Time was
awesome.
the best one.
Yeah, it's really good. Jak and Daxter we have next on this list. I played the Jak and Daxter games when I was younger. I wasn't in love with them. I know you had a lot of experience with them.
They were one of my favorite because it was like in my opinion the best storytelling along with platforming at the time.
Right.
Because like you're coming from Crash Bandicoot, you're coming from Spyro, where it's just like cool, like Spyro opened up a little bit more, but there was no real story.
Nothing,
And this is the first time where it was like there's a goal. So that's, I think, what intrigued me so much. Plus, it was bright, it was colorful.
Yeah, and the original.
I was like 10. So.
Well, we're talking the original compared to 2 are like totally different.
The
games.
most drastic difference.
Yeah, the original was like a platformer, like where you jump like a 3D platformer, pretty much like a collectathon. When you get to 2, they're trying to do like an open world.
Yeah, and it was almost like a cartoonish version. It still had dark tones, but almost a cartoonish version of Gran Turismo, where it's like, here, go through this world.
Grand Theft Auto.
That's what I mean. Grand Theft Auto. Where here, go through this map. Here's your little icon on the bottom. Here's your missions that
clearly,
you can choose.
Clearly, they played Grand Theft Auto and they were like, I like this. Let's
exactly.
But I'm torn on this because, like I said, I'm not really in love with this series. I know, but if I'm going to leave it to you, which one you think should stay on here, if any? Because this is going to be a top 15.
I think Jak 2 is my favorite. One? Yeah, of all 3 of them. Jak 3 was great, but I think they tried to do too much. Like cleaning up storylines, and it was just like a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
Jak 2 was just like, because when Jak 2 came out, I was a little bit older now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that's when you start playing those edgier games,
Mm-hmm.
and then they took this franchise that I loved the Jak and Daxter game, and they made it edgier, and I was like, that was perfect.
Perfect time.
They knew me, like they knew what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was
so it was like
time.
that's why I liked it so much.
I can
and,
respect that.
I would go with that. And the Jak 4 for PSP was a piece of crap, so don't ever play it.
Yeah.
Jak X
Agreed.
wasn't bad for a racing game, but
Right.
but Jak 2 is my favorite of the series.
Okay. Oh, speaking of racing games, would we put CTR on here? Crash Team Racing?
Oh, see, I put a lot of hours into that one too.
Crash Team Racing is an awesome game, but again, we are going to end up being top 15.
Like a 15.
Yeah, so it's not.
So even Jak 2, we don't know if it's going to necessarily hang, but it'll stay on there for now. We'll see where it settles out.
Naughty Dog loves those. Loves ending on a
Loves ending on a
racer.
racer.
Right?
Yeah. We're
Where's Uncarded?
Still waiting for Uncarded.
Oh, that's genius.
Still waiting for Uncarded. All right, Sly Cooper.
Oh man, love
Another
Sly
one.
Cooper.
I think we all have fond feelings for. I would say Shelby probably.
Yeah. Have you played all
Is
of
a leading
them?
I didn't play all of them. No, I didn't play. What was the most recent one?
The most recent one?
Yeah, no.
Thieves in Time, is that it? Or-
Thieves. I think it's Thieves in Time. Yeah.
And you were saying that you really enjoyed
I
it.
did enjoy it. You know, it was made by somebody else. I don't remember who.
Sanzaru.
Sanzaru. Okay, yeah. So it was Sucker Punch for the first three, and then it went to Sanzaru, and I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's just as good as the rest of the series.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I've heard great things.
Was it the best in the series? I don't think so, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Is there one in particular that you would say stands out as the best?
You know what? I haven't played them in so long.
Yeah.
But if I had to turn around and go, like, one that I remembered definitely, it was the first one.
Yeah.
Like,
For me, I had the fondest memory as the first one.
I clearly remember playing the first one.
Let's leave one on there.
Yeah. And again, I think they're all really good because then you get into those. I don't remember if it was in the first one or if they didn't introduce it to the second or third, where you could start playing as the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't just in your party. You know, like you start playing as Bentley.
I think that was 3.
Sneaking around. Was it 3?
I think that started with 3. Yeah.
Because like I thought that stuff was cool.
Yeah, that stuff was really cool.
Like that's what makes a sequel and another sequel better.
Yeah, I mean,
when they change it up.
With the Sly Cooper games, they change it up in a way where they're all really good and interesting. So it's hard to like really pick one out, even though they're not that similar in that way where they say they get stale.
Exactly.
I think one we all have the most fond memories with just because we remember it the most.
Yeah, I don't know if one's actually the best one of them, but it's definitely the one that like I remember playing and like loving it. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
You know?
And again, when we get down to it, we'll see if it's even here. But for now, let's leave one on.
I know, it's tough with those ones.
Yeah, we have a lot of incredible games on here. So
we're talking about those last 3 franchises.
Yeah.
All have that similar platforming feeling to it.
Yeah.
Even I remember Jak and Daxter came out and Naughty Dog was working in the same building as Insomniac and actually gave them their engine to build Ratchet and Clank. So it was like that's how similar you could tell they are.
Definitely. A series that I love very much, and I know
this is all you.
I know you guys have not had much experience with at all. Metal Gear Solid. I think Metal Gear Solid has a chance of having multiple games on this list, so I'm not going to delete all of them, but I am going to take out my least favorite, which is 4.
Now, 4 was for which generation?
4 was on PS3.
Okay.
The
first 3 were on PS2? Or
no.
PS1 and PS2?
Metal Gear Solid 1 was on PS1.
Okay.
That's the only one I've played.
2 and 3 were on PS2.
Why don't you like 4? I'm curious. I
like 4.
I feel like that's one.
I like 4 a lot.
Last generation, everybody was raving about.
There's
4.
a huge difference between the series. I could go into insane detail on these, but the original Metal Gear Solid had the marriage of the two, much like 2 and 3. Like 1, 2, and 3 all were a lot of gameplay, a lot of sneaking, a lot of getting your different weapons to get past certain areas, to do certain things, like disguising yourself in different disguises. Like there's a ton of similarities between 1, 2, and 3. The difference is just the story in those. Okay. In 4, it was much less about the gameplay. There's something like 4 hours of cutscenes in it or something insane. Okay. I'm exaggerating probably, but that's the epitome of 4. So a lot of people say like 1, 2, and 3 are here. 4 is all story, not a lot of gameplay. 5 is all gameplay, not a lot of story. You know what I mean? So some people say 5 is their favorite, some people say 4 is their favorite, but generally 1, 2, or 3 is at least where my heart lies. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave 1, 2, and 3 for now. Not all 3 of them are gonna make it likely, but I'd like to leave the 3. We'll see what happens as we move on. Coming up next, we have The Last of Us. That's not going anywhere. That's
That's
going to be on that list. Where it lands, we'll find out. But there are some really fucking heavy hitters coming up too. So we'll see what happens with that. Infamous. Dan, I don't know if you
never played. No, never.
Dan doesn't have much experience with Infamous. Me and Shelby are huge Infamous fans.
I love Infamous.
Yeah.
Infamous
never played them. No.
The only thing I haven't played was the DLC for Infamous, the newest one.
Yeah.
So
I haven't played that either.
It was like I want to say First Light. First Light. Yeah. That's the only thing I haven't played, but the rest of the other three are phenomenal.
Yeah. So what I'm basically Infamous.
Really cool.
The way that I see Infamous is, one came out and it was such a surprising game. It was like a really cool like superhero simulator kind of thing where you're just like jumping around, open world, like enjoy, like just loving like all the collectibles, doing everything. Like that's what that game was. Yeah. 2 came out, and the thing about 1 is, I thought the story was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
like I liked it.
I like how you said superhero simulator, because that's almost exactly what they were like. Let's take this normal guy and give him powers,
and then see what happens.
That's what and so like, and it was such cool gameplay.
It's a great game. Yeah. It's a fantastic game. But I think as they went on, I think 2. I don't know if it was because it was a worse game or if it was just diminishing returns. But I definitely, when I played 2, I was like, okay, like a little disappointed with it.
Yeah, it almost had a slight nostalgia level for like, oh, I love the first one so much. I really want to like this game. And it was good. It was still a good game. It was just like, I don't know. There was something about it. I agree with you on that sense. Yeah. The story wasn't as good as the
story wasn't as good, but I really do. I still have an issue differentiating this exact problem of, are we talking about diminished returns or are we talking about the game is just not as good? You know, like a lot of times I'm playing a sequel, and unless you say, "Wow, they really stepped it up," you're like,
you feel this.
The original was so
you know what I mean? Like, unless you're talking Uncharted 1 to 2, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you go through and you're like, was that a worse game, or have I just played it before? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I had with Infamous 1 and 2. I think Second Son did a lot of good things for the series, but I was not thrilled with the story as much as I liked the first one. The gameplay was super fluid. I really liked it. I liked the new powers. Graphically, when it came out right after the PS4 launch, it was absolutely beautiful.
And it was Troy Baker was the main character, right?
Yeah,
so it's like the acting and everything.
No, it was great. There's no,
but I agree with you in the sense that as far as story wise, the first one's
excellent.
Nailed it. You know, like it was so good.
And there were a lot of interesting questions that the first one was.
Yeah, but as far, like if you're talking gameplay, obviously it gets better as you go.
Yeah, but if you went back and played the original Infamous, I would still say that's a great game. Like I would recommend it.
Put it on the list.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think Infamous 1 should hang. I think we can get rid of Second Son and 2. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I recently gave my brother, probably like within the past year, I came home, I got my PS4, I had Xbox, and I was like, here, take PS3, live the childhood I lived. You know, like,
have a good time.
Here's every game I've ever owned. Yeah. Take it, play it. And the first game he played was Infamous 1. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that was a great thing to start on.
Good pick.
I was like, what a fucking choice. And he loved it too. And you're talking, what was that, 2006, 7?
I think it was 8, around that. But it was around
All right, so it was around that range. And so he loved it, and you're talking 10 years ago.
So it holds up.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Another franchise that I personally have had a lot of experience with. I don't know about you guys.
I've played all 3 as well.
Little Big Planet. I think the thing about Little Big Planet is
they made a racing game too.
They made a racing game too. But Little Big Planet is a game that. The first one is so incredible because it introduces all these crazy ideas where it's like you can make your own level, you can do this. There's so much you can do in it.
Right.
Like
you're building your game.
Basically throws you into this and like make your own games, and it's such a cool idea. Yeah. 2 came out with a bunch of new things to help you create. So I would say that 2 is the pinnacle here. Yeah. But 1 had that like shock factor. We're like, wow, look at this fucking game! Like, how cool is that? It was so like revolutionary.
I spent so much time creating like levels and stuff like. I spent probably more time playing created levels.
Oh yeah, I played so many creative levels, and you see how different they can get. You know what I mean? Yeah. By 2, because 2 had like the Grabinator or whatever, some item where you can change your perspective pretty much. Like you're playing like almost like a first person shooter all of a sudden. It's like super crazy. The things that they could do in that game is nuts.
Yeah.
So that's why I say 2. 3 was just it was made by a different developer again. It was Sumo Digital. But but
3 was a different development.
Yeah. But they made that game more like a children's platformer than a create your own game thing.
And that's when they introduced the
all the different characters. Yeah. So
which
there are
was
things.
Cool.
Yeah, there are things I like about 3, but I think 2.
I think 2 is the best one as well.
All right, let's leave 2.
The karting game wasn't that good either.
Karting not the best. Karting not the best. All right, so another franchise synonymous with PlayStation, obviously, God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how much experience.
I have,
I've
played
those
God of War games. Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually played even the PSP ones.
Yeah, me too.
Like
actually, and they're actually really good as well. I think we can safely get rid of 1 and then talk about 2 and 3.
That's so funny because I have more memories with 1.
With 1,
but,
really?
But it's not. I know it's not the better. The later ones got better, but
it's
like
just the memories. Yeah.
I just have more memories with 1, being like, oh, this is so interesting. This is so new.
It was a cool initial gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what a cool idea. But they got so much.
They got 100%
The gameplay got better.
Yeah,
the spectacle got better. They just
like everything about
the
the
ante.
yeah. They definitely upped the ante.
1 was good, but it was. I mean, they were all hack and slash, but one wasn't as good as the other.
I just like I said,
2 they started getting a lot more weapons. You can choose between extra weapons and stuff. I think I'm not the biggest fan of the series in general. I see what it does well, and I can appreciate it. So I don't know if you guys have feelings about between 2 and 3 specifically, but I'm kind of like, they're both good games. But
I lean a little bit more towards 3 because, I thought 2 was such a really good game too, but I lean more towards 3 because it reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus in the sense that it's it was just building up to a whole bunch of big
monsters,
boss fights, So I specifically remember going up and beating Zeus at the end, and
3 had the spectacle, no doubt.
Exactly, because it was it was on the PS3 and everything, and it was just let's see what we could do, and that's why I liked it the most. Was it the better game? I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I really enjoyed playing
that. I don't know.
I'm fine with that. Honestly, my feelings for God of War are not that I don't have. Even when I say I have fond feelings of the first one, I think when I was playing the first one, I was like, oh, this is cool, this is unique, but I never was in love with the God of War games. I was never oh my gosh, Kratos is so cool.
It was just one of those super fun to play. And it was like playing a fighting button masher.
Exactly.
At the same
and there's
time.
stuff that I really like about it, but it's not. I don't hold it with the same reverence that some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wouldn't I don't think there's a God of War game on my top 15.
No,
video games,
definitely not.
But there's a possibility that this might crack the top 15 for all we know. We have a bunch here. It's a very good game.
And I don't know what were the names of the. I remember Ghost of Sparta, and then there was another one.
Oh, Ascension.
No, that's
that was another PS3 one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
don't remember what it was called, but I do remember.
Ghost of Sparta, Chains of Olympus.
Yes, that's what it was. But the one thing I remember about those games, not that they would beat out 3 or anything, is that a lot of times when you go to the portable system, the gameplay suffers a little bit because there's not as many buttons or there's something like that. I remember specifically God of War was very easy to play, and it almost felt no different than playing it on the regular controller.
Yeah, I think those games are really, really good.
They're definitely really good. Because that was Ratchet and Clank did a whole bunch of PSP and stuff like that, and they suffered a little bit.
Yeah, they weren't the same caliber in general.
But this one, I remember that was pretty good.
I want to jump up real quick just to the Uncharted franchise because we kind of skipped it earlier.
Yeah.
Similar to what we did with the Metal Gears.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending that we take all the Uncharted, leave one. But I think the original, for as cool of an idea and as good as a groundwork it's set, I think that's the weakest of the bunch because you saw the step up when you played Uncharted 2. You were like, Jesus, they really upped the ante. Uncharted 1, everyone was like, wow, this is really cool, Indiana Jones, how great is this? And then 2 came out and we were like, whoa, what did you do with this? I didn't even know you could do this. Yeah.
I remember watching the trailer for that, and I was like, "You're playing a movie. You're playing a movie."
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have a story for how you discovered the first Uncharted?
Me personally, I was always reading about games back then, so I
knew about it coming out.
I knew about it, and I know when Game of the Year time came up in a lot of these outlets and stuff, it was Mass Effect 1, Uncharted, BioShock, I remember being Uncharted, hanging with these games because I played Mass Effect and BioShock.
Yeah.
I remember I first started I first started making money around that time, and I didn't even get it. I didn't get it till a year after it came out, and I was making money, and I went to the store, and I was like, you know what, I'm buy a game. I'm going to buy 3 games. Screw it. You know, I think they would have like a buy 2 get 1 free thing at GameStop. So on pre-owned. So I went in and I saw that and I was like, well, there's not a lot of games out for the PS3 right here. And I picked that one up and I was like, this looks cool. It's brighter than whatever else I got at the time. Big green stuff on the cover. I had no idea it was Naughty Dog. And I remember taking it home, and it was the last of the 3 I played, and I can't remember what the other 2 were, but it was the last of the 3 I played, and I was like, you know what, these other 2 games weren't that good, let me play this one. And I think I played the whole thing start to finish, and I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
And
those games are incredible. I think for now we'll leave 2, 3, and 4, and then we can sort that out later.
Because that's tough too. Because honestly, those 3 right there, some of my favorite games.
Yeah, you're definitely talking big differences.
Yeah, you know,
I'd like to come back to that.
Yeah, they're incredible, and that's gonna be tough to compare.
I mean, 4 alone, like I had. Not that I had zero expectations. I was like, oh, I'd like to, you know.
Did they need
it's
to
like
do
when they made like the 5th
yeah.
Rocky. You're just like, okay, they're gonna constantly,
you know,
you know, but
Rocky 5 was the worst one.
It blew me out of the water on Uncharted 4 though. You know, it's just like.
Yeah, no, I agree. Uncharted 4 is incredible. Let's come back to that.
We'll come back to that for sure.
I have next on the list. I have The Unfinished Swan. Great. A game that Dan and I talked about a lot in the past on here. Shelby, I know you played and enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
I want to leave that for now. We can come back.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
definitely.
same thing with Journey. Journey's an incredible game. You heard us when we talked, you know, games of the generation, talk very highly of Journey. So that one's gonna stay. We'll come back and talk about it. Now we get to the 3 Team Ico games, the Fumito Ueda games. Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian. Okay. Nobody's saying that all 3 of these can't make it, but if we're looking through them, I think there's one that obviously stands.
I think we would all agree on the one that's
the one stands higher than the rest, and that's Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Now I know you guys have been playing the remake, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's great.
It's so good.
It's actually worth every penny to play it again.
It's incredible. But
if I'm choosing personally between the 3 of those, I think Ico is the least of my favorite ones, you know?
I would agree, but I think it's also a fantastic game.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't make it a game that couldn't make the list.
I think we leave all 3 for now, and we'll come back and talk.
Because I definitely enjoyed it.
I think Ico is an incredible game, and who's to say I wouldn't rather take Ico over, you know, one of these that we already
have.
Right,
that's
you know, so when we get down to it and we're trying to cut to 15, then we might come back.
Yeah.
I have here Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10.
Now you guys have played all 3 of those?
Final Fantasy,
you just played 7, right?
I played 7.
I've only played 10.
Okay.
And shout out to Ralph who told me, like,
yeah.
I remember,
Ralph,
like,
you're our biggest fan. We love
I've
you,
only, like, I had never played any Final Fantasy games ever, and Ralph was like, really? You've never played any? And I was like, no. He's like, go buy Final Fantasy 10 and play it. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't think I finished it because I don't know how many hours
it's very
into
long,
it, but yeah.
All Final Fantasy games are very long, but I think so. Me and Dan have talked about 7 on this podcast many times, and how we prefer other Final Fantasy games.
Well, that's
that doesn't mean we don't like this game, and I think it's a great game, and I think it could easily end up making it.
I think Final Fantasy 7, like when it comes to story, like this is how I feel about Final Fantasy 7. The first 10 hours of that game, perfect, like flawless.
Yeah.
And then it kind of drops off for me. But it's kind of like we mentioned this before, Dan. Like when it comes to like 9, 10, or any later, my love of Final Fantasy really is the earlier games. And like you said, there comes a point where Final Fantasy 7 changed it to this sort of like angsty, like
no, I know,
you know, and it kind of lost for me. It lost the charm of like, oh, I'm in a fantasy environment. Oh, cool, there's wizards and.
But where it differentiates, where it comes back, is 9. And I know you haven't played 9, but 9 is a very... It's almost like a antithesis of 7.
I think they're just releasing it for the remastering.
Oh yeah,
9? I think for PS4. I believe so. Yeah.
Huh.
See, I was as a non-Final Fantasy player, I always, as you were just saying, like it's a fantasy thing. You're in this fantasy world and stuff like that. And then sometimes I see commercials where they're like driving Mazda Miatas.
And they're like in these long.
What kind of game is this?
Just like, exactly.
I have no idea what's happening.
I think the truth of it is I like 9 a lot because of it really does harken back to the old Final Fantasies in the style and how it's truly fantasy and not like steampunk and all that, you know? Because the truth of it, when you really think about it, is that 6 kind of set up 7 to kind of take everyone off the rails. Because if you think about a lot of the aspects of 6, they're like...
What is that, steampunky?
Yeah, they're like shuffling towards that a little bit, but they're also keeping their roots. Yeah. They're like kind of in between. Yeah. Where 7 kind of takes them over the edge. Yeah. And then it could just go.
But then everything followed. So it was 7.
Yes. 9 really feels like back to the originals. It really does. So I like 9 a lot. I think 7 is the one here. So we're gonna get rid of 9.
I feel like when it comes to Final Fantasy or any Final Fantasy game, I feel like everybody's favorite Final Fantasy game is usually the first one they play. I feel like everybody I've talked to, it's like, oh, this is my favorite. Oh, which one did you play first? Mm-hmm. Oh, that one. I feel like...
Well, the thing about it is 7 and 10 are the most popular because they sold the most. Right. So when you're a kid...
You played them.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's really why. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a lot of friends that have only played 10 and are like, hey, I really like 10. Yeah. Because it hit them at the right age. Yeah. And they happen to play it.
It was cool, but I'll tell you what, that game you play in that giant water sphere is so hard.
Blitzball?
Oh my god, it's so hard to play.
It's so
I hated
designed.
That.
It's so bad.
It was so, like, why was that part of the story? It was so hard and so stupid.
We're getting rid of 10 because there are things that I like about 10. It's
I like the characters.
The characters are good, some of them, but the story is not good. It's not. Like
I heard, and again, I haven't finished the game, but I heard that the ending didn't sit well with fans, which is why they made 10-2.
Yeah.
To kind of make up for that. Sorry, is what I was told. Like, this is what I've read.
We can have a whole Final Fantasy podcast and talk about it, but I think we're gonna cut it and say 10 and 9, you're gone. We're gonna keep 7. We'll come back and figure it out.
Sounds good.
Next game on the list, I don't know if any of you guys have played.
I haven't, but I know it falls into that realm of games that you like.
Bloodborne is a Souls-like. It's made by From Software. It's very, very similar to Dark Souls, which you all know I've talked about a lot.
I think one time we were hanging out, and I think I just watched you for 2 hours play Bloodborne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard you were just hanging in.
Now, this game beat expectations, right? Like, I heard when it came out, people were like, oh, it's trying to be Dark Souls.
Well,
is it going to be as good or not?
I don't know if that aspect was out there. A lot of people were saying, hey, these are literally the guys that made Dark Souls, and they're making a Dark Souls-like in a different setting. So everybody that I was reading and hearing from was super fucking excited for it, because they're like, holy shit, this is Dark Souls with a totally different take on it. So me and a lot of the world was fucking stoked about it. And when it came out, it was totally fucking above and beyond what I expected. Because you see the Victorian horror, that kind of stuff, that's cool, werewolves, one of the first bosses you fight is this guy that transforms into a werewolf when he gets to half health, and then he's a totally different battle. It's really cool. That stuff is great, but you get to a certain point in that game where it becomes cosmic horror, like Lovecraftian horror with tentacle monsters and crazy shit that you never saw coming. And it does some really fucking cool stuff with that. It does some some of the world design and the monster design as you go on in that game. There were numerous times in Bloodborne where I walk out, because there's a bunch of there's a mechanic in that game called insight, where you eat these things and it gives you higher insight, and so you see this number ticking up. You don't know what the fuck it is. It goes down when you die. It's all this crazy stuff. When your insight gets to a certain level, you can see things in the world that have been there the whole time that you couldn't see. So I walk out of this area that I've been through 100 times, and I look out the corner of my eye and I turn the camera, and there's this giant guy with spider arms and legs just sitting on the wall like this with a bunch of eyes like Lovecraftian shit. And you're looking, you're like, what the fuck? I've been here so many times. Why is this guy here? And it's just that kind of stuff makes this game super fucking high up on my list.
Is that an intellect? Did you interact with that thing? Or?
Yeah, you can fight it. You can it's this whole thing. It's crazy. There's a part where you literally need to get picked up by it and have enough health for when it squeezes you you need your health to be high enough that you'll survive, because then it transports you into an area where you can't get otherwise.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
But that's this game, man.
That's pretty awesome.
It does crazy shit that you don't expect over and over again, and it has that same Dark Souls hooks.
Oh man,
it's a really fucking fantastic game, and I know you've all heard that this game is great.
I think it's a beautiful looking game too. Just watching it on your TV.
Yeah. I just love the cover.
It's insane.
I haven't seen gameplay. I like the cover. You're just sitting there. You're just black, not facing the camera with a scythe to your side.
Oh, man, that game is really special. I hold that game like in really high regard.
Nice.
Another one, I put it right after it so we can just talk about it. Demon's Souls.
Okay.
Demon's Souls is the original of the Dark Souls series. It went Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, right?
Yeah.
So, Demon's Souls
set the groundwork.
And it had a lot of really ambitious ideas that were poorly implemented.
Okay.
Like, it had some world tendency stuff that was kind of shitty, and especially after the servers are offline, it makes the game really hard to play. But I think it's a super special game, and I'm telling you, what I basically did was I played Demon's Souls, totally bounced off it. I played Dark Souls. I told you my whole story. I bounced off it a couple times, went back, finally played it. So after I beat Dark Souls 1, it was before Dark Souls 2 came out, and I had an itch for it. I played Demon's Souls, and I really like it a lot. I think it totally is on par with the rest of the Dark Souls games. We're talking Dark Souls here, Bloodborne right behind it, and then the rest of the Dark Souls games are in a straight line. Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, all really fucking excellent games, but don't go quite as high as these.
That's fair.
So I'm going to say we'll leave it for now. It'll probably come off in the end because I know Bloodborne I'm going to push for. But let's leave it for now. We'll come back. Another game that I have not had a ton of experience with, but I know Shelby.
No, I've only played these when I was a kid, so I haven't played these in 10 plus years.
Siphon Filter is a very important PlayStation franchise.
Yeah, this was my Metal Gear Solid. You know, you played those. I remember playing Siphon Filter all the time, and it was just I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying before, you just go and then all of a sudden, instead of hiding under a box, you have to jump up in the air and hold on to a wall like you're freaking Spider-Man and watch as a guy. You know, it was just it was one of the. I think it was the first game growing up as a kid playing on the PlayStation where it was a real strategy-based, realistic game though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking Tetris.
Yeah, no, of course.
So I think that's why it intrigued me so much. Of course, it has its problems. It didn't do so well, so that's why it's not around anymore. But it was. Yeah. I enjoyed the crap out of it, but is it one of the greatest games? No. But
very important franchise.
It was definitely important.
The early ones actually sold pretty well. That's why they ended up making quite a few, and then they kind of tapered off as time went on.
It just didn't stick around as the Call of Duties and Metal Gear Solid, and everything else got better. No. You know,
of course, it couldn't hang. Yeah. But very important games for the PlayStation. So glad we recognized it here, but definitely not going to make 15.
Yeah. All right, now this is all you.
These games, you played some of Persona 4.
I did play some of these, but I know you're going to be able to explain these a lot better than I did.
When we're talking about, so what he's alluding to is Persona 4 and Persona 5. So they're both PlayStation exclusives. Persona 4 came out on the PS2 originally, and then it got remade for the Vita as Persona 4 Golden.
Which is the one I played.
Which is the best version of it, and it's incredible. But I would recommend either. Persona 4, Dan, I know you played Persona 5.
I played Persona 5, yeah.
And you really enjoyed it.
Oh, I love that. But I never played a game like that. So
yes. Persona 4.
That's exactly how I felt.
And the way Persona works, and I know you talked about Final Fantasy before, it's kind of first one you play, you fall in love with.
Okay.
So I actually played Persona 3.
Oh, okay.
But wasn't that into it when I was younger. I was kind of
that's the first one you
played. I gotta do homework in a video game? Come on.
No, it was kind of funny. It was I couldn't really wrap my head around what was going on.
Yeah.
When Persona 4 came out, I was in love with it. Persona 4, originally I played it on PS2, loved it. Then years later, played it again, Golden on Vita, because I'd forgotten a lot of it. Replayed it, played through the entire thing, absolutely loved it. I think Persona 4 is way up there for me. I think the way it marries the JRPG gameplay, and you've experienced it with 5, because it's a very similar layout. The gameplay mixed with you like deciding who you're gonna hang out with, if you're gonna do your homework, getting your test questions right to get your intelligence up, like answering questions in class. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff, and the mechanics are paired so nicely with that because you get it's like, you ever play ActRaiser?
No.
It has that thing where it feels like two totally separate excellent games.
Yeah. Meshed.
But when they're meshed together, they do it so well, and you wouldn't expect them to do it well. A JRPG mixed with this like student simulator, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're getting your ranks up with your
work
classmates.
And
It's really fucking cool, really interesting game. I like 4 and 5 both. 4 for me, first one I really got into.
There's no love lost for me if you put 4 over 5.
I would say, I think 5 is an excellent game as well, but 4, man, the way that game hit me when I played it, it was like
that's fine. I think 5 is definitely.
What did you think of 4 when you played it, Sean?
Now, I only played the one for PS. I remember when I got the Vita, and you were like, "You got Vita now?" I was like, "Yeah." You were like, "You have to go get PS4 Golden."
Yeah.
And or Persona 4 Golden, I mean. And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I went and I got it, and again, like you just said, I had never played a game like that before. But I have to say, like, it wasn't one of those, oh, well, Dan said it's good, so let me keep playing it. I was actually, like, hooked. I was like, I played hours upon hours in it, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I finished it, but I do remember.
Well, it's a long undertaking.
Exactly.
100 hours.
I remember being really into it, and I was the same way at first. I was like, really? Like, this is so weird. Like, what is this? And then, like, you get into, like, your second hour playing it, and you're like, I'm hooked. You don't even know why you're playing it at first, and I'm like, this is so good.
Right. Yeah.
And so I agree that it should be on this list for sure. Yeah. Because it had that appeal to it, you know. Like as somebody who's never played a game like that, I was hooked.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely agree that what it did was great.
But the thing about 4 specifically, I like the like the underlayer of what the story is about, like the main storyline, much more in 4 than 5. 5 is like, you were this thief and you don't know why you're in jail, and they undo it so slowly, like as the game goes on. 4 is a lot more of like, there's this, like, kids are dying and you don't know what's going on, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is. It's like a really cool story,
like a mystery kind of.
Yeah, it's a total mystery, and you're basically trying to stop people, like the killings from happening. So it has this cool, like, all these characters are well written.
Yeah, there's a serious.
You're meeting all these characters, and then this really serious underpinning of, like, you know, why, like, what's going on in this town, right?
Cool.
So I think Persona 4 should stay.
That's fine.
And
wasn't there like an arena game too? Like
they've had a ton of spin-offs.
Persona Racing?
No, I don't know.
I don't think any racing.
No racing.
There's been a fighting game.
There's a ton of characters to throw in there.
No racing yet. All right, so Persona 4, I think we should keep, and we'll see what happens there. Cool. All right, so another game that came out just last year. I know we just talked about Persona 5. Another one from last year, Horizon Zero Dawn. So we've all played it, right? You played Horizon. I know that some people think this is like the best PlayStation game to come out. I am not that high on it. I think it's very good. I think it is a little overrated, but I could totally see it sneaking onto this list at the end. The reason I wasn't so high on it as some people is I just didn't enjoy the gameplay like everyone else did. I don't know what it was. I really like the story a lot. I love the story. I think it's really unique, and I love the real deep sci-fi aspects that they get into, like especially near the end. It's really fucking cool.
It was like the exploration too. I thought that was also, you know.
There's a ton of stuff I like about this game. I think it's an excellent game. I just, like, some people are literally like,
"This is the best game of all time.
This is my favorite PlayStation 4 game." And it's like, that's insane. It's not.
I do, you know what I like? It's, as you were talking about story and stuff, and I love that whole, like, it's sci-fi, but at the same time, you're just in the middle of nature, you know, like that. I love that aspect. I think that's really cool. I think what makes the gameplay pretty awesome is that you encounter all these different beasts, and now it's like, all right, how am I going to take this guy down? You know,
right.
Because there's different ways to do it, and obviously you figure out your own way, and then they set you up with that whole system. I remember the first time you go and you fight like the giant saber-tooth looking one, and they like tell you the way to do it.
Traps and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff. So obviously they show you the best way to do it, but you can do it really however the hell you want. So I think that's what intrigued a lot of people for the most part.
And I get that. I just didn't. Me personally, the amount of tools at my disposal weren't enough, and they weren't that appealing to me. I was mostly just far away, just shooting.
That's what I do. Yeah, just hide behind your rock.
And it's like by the end,
if you jump off something, it goes in slow mo.
That's cool. But I'm just saying, like when I'm back there and just doing that over and over, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
Like it got to a point where I didn't want to fight anybody.
Yeah, it's
that's not really what you want. I'm gonna leave for now. We'll see as we do our hard cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But next series I have on here, I have Tekken 1, 2, and 3. We talked, me and Dan, not huge fighting game fans. I played a lot of Tekken as a kid, though. A lot of Tekken. I know it's a super important franchise for PlayStation. I don't think it's gonna hang.
I don't think so either. Which is the one with like the leopard guy? The Tekken 2.
Tekken 2 was out of those
he's in most of them.
Yeah, he's in most of them. But out of all three of those, Tekken 2 was definitely my favorite. 2 is the
one I had the most experience with.
Because that was the one where you're fighting like Dark Jin and everything. Or, I don't know if that was his name, but he turned into like a devil.
I know,
like a big purple devil.
Yeah.
And Tekken Tag was probably, honestly, I put the most hours into that one.
Yeah.
But, because that was the first game I had for PS2. But Tekken 2 was definitely great.
Yeah.
But again, you're talking like, I mean, if you're breaking it down to 15 games.
Yeah,
I don't know if any of them are going to hang.
A lot of these games that we're touching on are not going to hang.
It's tough with the fighting games,
Yeah.
Especially being like, we play story-based games for the most part.
Yeah, but there are some games on here that we like for the game.
Well, I know you're loving the Dragon Ball Fighter game now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that they couldn't be on the list of...
Right. I just think for those games specifically, it's not really for our top 15, I don't think that's going to hang.
I don't think so, no.
One that might hang is the original Resident Evil. Resident Evil 1 came out initially, PlayStation. I fucking love this game. I think it is super hard to play now, and it's super obtuse and annoying in a lot of ways. Not only the controls, but also just like finding shit.
Yeah.
Because they're hidden in the dumbest spots. Like, there's a lot of bad about Resident Evil 1, but it was so unique at the time, especially.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, being that I played it so much when I was younger, when I bought the PS4 remake, I was able to play through it and be pretty good at it. You know what I mean? Because I played it so much back then that
Well, once you know where all the secrets are and everything, it's just so much easier because I gotta freaking turn the book around.
There's a ton
of key in there.
Absolute ton of nonsense in that game, but I really like it a lot.
I definitely think it's a great game, but I have such bad memories with it because my grandfather played it and he had it, so I didn't have it. And if I wanted to play the game, he would make me play it in the dark in a room by myself. So it was I had a terrible time as a kid playing this game.
That is brutal. Yeah, I really, really like this game, but I just... We'll see if it hangs or not. I'm not positive. Mm-hmm. Let's leave it for now. I have a lot of really good feelings about it, but
that's a game that you need. That's the reason we have walkthroughs, though. I feel like for Resident Evil 1, that's a game that you need a walkthrough.
A lot of nonsense in that game, no doubt. Let's leave it for now. We'll see what happens. A game that I can't imagine is going to come off this list.
I think that's the top 15 game.
Is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So Dan and I have talked about this game in the past. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite Castlevania game, and that's a very good series. So that's saying something. They totally brought. I think the reason that this one specifically stands out to me is because they reimagined it in such a way while still making it feel like a Castlevania game.
It's so beautiful.
You know what I mean? They redid the graphics incredibly. It's a beautiful game. The music so fucking awesome, so different than
everything, and all the worlds and all the different
different environments, the boss designs, mm-hmm. This game is near perfect to me, and I think that's absolutely going to end up staying on.
Have you played that show?
I have not played any Castlevania games.
Okay.
Oh, man, you gotta get
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Castlevania games. That's probably, next to Mario and Zelda, that's probably my favorite franchise. I haven't missed a game.
See, I didn't... I played all of them after, not those games. I mean, I didn't have, Nintendo, and a NES or Super Nintendo Entertainment System as a kid. And I had Sega Genesis before I had Nintendo 64, Yeah. So it was I didn't play those, and then by the time I started getting into the Nintendo 64 games, I never really went back to play those. Right. So that's why I missed out on those.
Yeah, I would recommend at least trying to play Symphony of the Night somehow. I know it's on 360.
Speaking about old games, and I know you guys weren't completely ideal on the fact that they changed it up a little bit, but Secret of Mana comes out today, the remake.
Yeah, it does.
And are you guys going to play it or no?
Probably not.
I know you were a little upset about the sprites or whatever, so I didn't.
I mean,
see, the way you guys spoke about the game before you figured that out makes me want to play it.
I love that game. I have it on Super Nintendo.
Well, I think you can get it. Oh, you have the actual cartridge. I think you can get it on if you have a Wii. You can get it in like the Wii shop.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, that's how I'd recommend. I mean, I don't know. I'm a sucker for those.
I mean, it's just like
graphics.
It's one of those super old games where it's like I don't really want to go spend $40 on this game. The new one, so I would probably go buy the old one.
Yeah, the old one is going to be way better anyway. So don't worry about it. We'll see. Maybe we're saying maybe we're judging a book by its color.
I mean, they're just taking this 2D world and adding 3D sprites to it and stuff like that. So that's the big change there. But.
All right, but back to PlayStation franchises. Shelby, Parappa the Rapper. It was really fun when I was a kid. I adored that game when I was younger. You play it now. They redid it for PS4. Holy shit, it is not fun to play at all.
The only experience I have with Parappa the Rapper is PlayStation All-Star Battle game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parappa, it was super important for the PlayStation, and I really liked it when I was a kid. It is not a great game.
Were there multiple? There was more, weren't there? Was like 3 of them?
I think there was 2.
And there's Parappa the Rapper Racing as well.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think there were 2, but yeah, no good. Here's a game that I know Shelby loves very much.
Yeah, I definitely had great experiences with the Dark Cloud series.
Yes.
Have you played?
Never played any of the Dark Cloud games.
I played Dark Cloud, right? Yeah.
So the first one, I remember getting it. It was one of those things. I remember getting this and like Eco at the same time when I was younger, and I just didn't like the games at first. And I was like, oh, this you actually have to learn and all this stuff. I just want to get in and I want to do stuff, you know? And this one involved so much storytelling in the beginning, so I didn't like it. And then I went back to it, and Dark Cloud was one of my favorite PS2 games. Just because, like, you have this world which gets wiped out, and now, like, everything you know is gone. And you go into this dungeon, and you just have to collect all these pieces of your world, you know? Like, you find these orbs, you open them up, and it's these pieces of your world, and you have to put them back together once you get out of there. And there's levels to the dungeon, and it's cool like that. And I thought it was so cool. The gameplay was pretty easy and everything like that. And then they made Dark Cloud 2 has, other than the name and like gameplay mechanics, has nothing to do with the first one.
Nothing to do with it.
And it was so much better.
It was so
much better. It was awesome. You had 2 characters that you could play with. The first one you get like multiple. You get like up to 6 or something like that. But this one you have 2 main characters, and it was just, I can't even explain it. It was so much better.
Yeah.
Of a game. Yeah, like the building and everything, the storytelling was way better.
I like Dark Cloud 2 especially a lot. But I think when we're matching it up to these giants, I don't know if it's
I know. That's the
But it is a great game. But it's a great game for PlayStation.
It was such a good game to like play at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
As somebody who didn't really play a lot of RPGs,
right? That was
when
like
I was younger.
That was like
that one I couldn't put down.
Yeah, cool.
You know?
It is really fun. I really like Dark Cloud 2. Another game that I wouldn't call fun, but I would call a great game, is Silent Hill 2.
Fantastic.
Silent Hill 2 is definitely, especially when it came out, one of the best horror games out there.
I think it has a Shadow of the Colossus thing where like the controls suck, but
they're so bad.
But the story is just so like when you get to the end and the wife's reading like the letter and you're crying. It's just
there are some moments in that game that are rough. Like, really rough.
Sick in the best and worst of ways.
In the best and worst ways, yeah. I want to leave it for now, and we'll see what happens.
I think I have good feelings about Silent Hill too.
Did that make the teary-eyed list? Was that on the?
It should have been. Because at the end I was crying when she reads like the letter, like the rest of the letter. She's like, "You make me happy." I'm just like, "Oh."
No, yeah, that was rough. There's no denying that. Again, the series that we put on here, even though they're terrible, just to talk about, is the old Tomb Raider games.
Great building blocks, awful games.
The games that came, the games that came after them, the newer,
the Rise of the Tomb Raider is fantastic.
Like the story wise,
awesome.
I remember I played every single of the other Tomb Raider. I remember, if I was saying before, like you drop into that cave at one point and 2 tigers coming at you, and you're shooting, trying to run at the same time, and literally, I think her hips like went one direction, and the top of her body was like
those games are
terrible. It was crazy hard to control, and like I remember, I wouldn't even play with the joystick. Specifically play with the D-pad because it made it almost easier to just make her go up, down, left, and right. Like just stick to the basics.
Yeah, those games are not good. They were very important for the PlayStation. In specific because they sold really well.
Yeah.
And
they tried going into the PS2 era and everything. Like, I had Angel of Darkness too, and it was not good.
Yeah.
And then they did Underworld and the other ones, which were better, but still not good.
Still not good. The newer ones are very good.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider and
they're phenomenal.
Just the original. It was just called Tomb Raider. The original.
Just Tomb Raider,
yeah.
Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, those are fantastic. Those are really
fucking good.
And now the third one coming out is like, I can't remember if it's like Revenge of the Tomb Raider or something.
Yeah, it hasn't. It kind of got leaked. It hasn't been officially announced. So we don't know for sure. But yeah,
the new games just take what they wanted to do. They wish they could have done with the original games and just.
But what I liked it much more is you're not just this badass. You're like it's a survival game.
Yeah.
Almost, So like you're building, you're like.
No, it's really cool. Those games.
You got bears coming after you.
Yeah, it was so much better.
Yeah.
I agree.
A game I put on here because I really, really liked it when it came out, and I'm starting to falter on my feelings about it. Heavy Rain. A lot of really smart ideas. A lot of really shitty things too. So I don't think it's gonna hang on here, but I really liked it when it came out, and I've slowly just gone down and down. Even without the David Cage stuff, I'm just talking about in general, like as you look back on some of the writing in that game and some of the scenarios.
You know how we were saying with Persona, I was like, oh, I've never played a game like this, and I wanted to keep playing. Heavy Rain, I never played a game like this. Nah.
Didn't want
to.
Honestly, I have Heavy Rain as well, and I couldn't get even a quarter of the way through it.
I played through it.
I just wasn't into it.
I did enjoy it, but as I look back on it as I get older, it just doesn't hold up.
Fuck David Cage.
Seriously. Dan with the mouth.
I know, Jesus. It's probably the first time I ever said the F word.
Alright, a game that I can unequivocally say is incredible is Final Fantasy Tactics. Don't know if you guys have any experience with it.
No.
It basically marries a tactics game, which is just isometric, like Fire Emblem style, tile-based tactics. Really fucking deep combat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like the Final Fantasy world in it is really, really good. I think Tactics is absolutely one of the best PlayStation games. But if I'm the only one that has any fond feelings, that may not hang.
I never got around to them, and I've seen plenty of gameplay. I've watched YouTube videos. It's awesome, and I know you love those sort of games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way you just explained that, now I haven't played this other game either, but Valkyrie Chronicles or whatever?
Valkyria Chronicles, Valkyria Chronicles.
Is that a PlayStation game? Or a PlayStation exclusive?
I would have to look it up.
I'm not sure. Just the way you just explained that tactics game, how it's kind of like that turn-based battling.
Yeah, Valkyria Chronicles, it's different though because that game is from like behind the back. It's like a third-person game.
Yeah.
But you just basically have... a certain movement range rather than tile-based, so it's not quite the same. It definitely has similarities. I think Valkyria Chronicles, we just checked, did come out on other platforms, so it's not.
But it said Xbox One because I know they just remastered it. So maybe it was.
It's possible, Either way, I don't think it would hang here, but I do actually really like those games a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that they just remastered. I actually was playing it on PS4 last year. It's very good. But this game is more tile-based, a lot more specifically tactical because, elemental-based. Like, there's a lot of depth in, like, leveling up the characters and choosing what skills and stuff like that. Gotcha. I like Tactics. I have a feeling it's not going to make it on here just because it's just me. And, if it was my list only, it would be on there, but it wouldn't even be...
Yeah, it would hold up on top 15.
It would be top 15, but it wouldn't be that high up on it. So, I could see it go.
Like I said, I've only played Final Fantasy X, and anything else with Final Fantasy in the name, I just didn't want to dive into.
Right.
I'm somebody who likes to go back to the first game.
Yeah.
And play through them sort of thing. So it's like, I don't think I could ever dive into another Final Fantasy
It's a curse
game.
sometimes, but I do the same. A game that we mentioned briefly, but I don't think we got into, is Gravity Rush. I played Gravity Rush, not much of it though.
No. I loved Gravity Rush.
I know there are a lot of people that are huge fans of Gravity Rush. I couldn't really get into it that much. Mm-hmm. I had it when the Vita first came out.
Yeah.
And I saw the appeal of it. I just wasn't that into the way it played.
Yeah. So the story, I wasn't in love with the story. It wasn't terrible, but I wasn't in love with the story. What I almost stopped playing it in the beginning because I could not get the controls down. I was like, this is difficult.
Yeah.
You're like flying in different directions, and you're not doing it on a regular controller. You're doing it on the Vita. So I'm like, this is so hard. And then I just kept going and going and going at it. And eventually I got good at it, and that's when the game became really enjoyable for me. You know, so it was like, I was flipping around. It's like one of those things where you like get good at a game and you're like, you're like smugging around. You're like, I'm fucking badass with it. You know, like I got good at it, and I was like, this is sweet. Like I was, that's what made me love it. And so I just went all the way through the thing. And again, the story wasn't phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's been so, I know Gravity Rush 2 came out, and I haven't played it, but
I heard it's really good.
I heard it, yeah. But
I heard
that was
2 is really good.
What interests me about it is that it's like
right?
now it's on the PS4, so maybe the controls are even easier to learn. You know, so that's what I was.
No, it's definitely possible.
I just haven't gotten to it.
Do you think it's gonna hang on here?
I think it could.
All right, so let's leave it.
Yeah,
that's
so
all
I would leave
hear.
it for now,
All right,
because I definitely enjoyed it that much.
Awesome. A game that I enjoyed quite a bit is Until Dawn. Those of you who don't know, Until Dawn is basically a David Cage style game done right. That's how I describe it. Because
did he do it? No, right?
No.
Oh.
But basically what this game is, it's like a cabin in the woods teen horror game. Like it's literally like a teen horror movie. Like that's the whole thing. It's like a slasher flick. But it's written so well. It is so well done. And it's really cool how the permutations can end up. You can end up with one of the teenagers alive or all of them alive if you do it right. So it's a really cool game, really interesting. It's not going to hang on this list, but I actually really, really like this game quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw it on the PS Now, I was going to pick it up, and then I realized it's scary.
It is scary. It is scary, but it's very good. A game that I'm going to fight for till the death.
And I won't fight against you on this.
Is Nier Automata. So we talked a lot about this Game of the Year time.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of my favorite games of the last few years. It's way up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does a lot of interesting things with its genre and with video games in general that only a video game could do. It does a lot of really good stuff. We'll talk more about that as it comes on, but I'm going to leave that for now.
Now, I haven't finished it, but I know, like, especially with talking about it and the way he talks about it, like, it is a really good game.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I know Dan just played the
right.
beginning with me. He didn't get too far into
Yeah,
it.
Dan decided that he didn't want to play with me anymore. So
Well, it's one of those things where you're, like, waiting on your significant other to watch a Netflix show, and you're like,
exactly.
this show is so good, I don't want to wait.
Exactly.
It's like one of those situations.
Yeah, but I'm going to leave for now. We'll come back to it when we talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Another PlayStation series that everyone knows, Twisted Metal. I had the most experience with Twisted Metal 2. Okay. I know a lot of people really like Black.
Black is my favorite of them,
I don't think any of them are going to make it. But,
neither do I, but
I really, really
definitely worth the shout out.
Yeah, definitely worth the shout out.
I haven't played any,
No?
They're really fun, especially when you're a young teen.
You're just like what? You're in an ice cream truck with a giant clown head on top that turns into a Transformer robot. You know,
those games
awesome.
are a lot of fun.
It was so cool,
but they're not.
What I loved, the difference between the 1, 2, and like Black is what I thought Black made it so different and so awesome is that they gave backstories to the characters in a racing game, you know, like in a racing destruction, literally death race the game movie, you know.
No, it was cool. It was definitely cool, but those games are not going to hang. We also have on here the SOCOM series, not going to hang. I had some really good experience with early SOCOM games playing online with friends and stuff.
It was like a Navy SEALs Team 6 kind of game, you know?
Yeah, it's very cool, and I had some great experiences with it. It's absolutely not going to hang. 2 games here by our guys, Supergiant, Transistor, and Pyre. They're both PS4 exclusives. Mm-hmm. I think they're both excellent games. I love them. I think they're kind of like this, like they could go either way on which one you say is better, which one's not. But I think it's going to be tough for either of these games to make top 15.
Yeah, I mean, I see that, for example, I'm just thinking games last year. I see Horizon Zero Dawn still on the list, I think. And like I like Pyre more than Horizon Zero Dawn. So
do I.
I think.
So do I. I think I like Pyre a little bit more than Transistor, though, honestly.
Yeah, Transistor.
And I know you love Transistor. I remember when that first came out.
I did love Transistor. That got me into I like games. Every Supergiant game. They make great fucking games.
Now, I haven't played either of those two, so you guys have to
I would say I would take Transistor off. Let's leave Pyre for now. I think Transistor is excellent. It has some really good moments.
But Transistor has those moments where you're just like, what?
That just happens.
Like in the story where you're just like, this is games for kids. What the heck? And this is
right. I think it's a fucking awesome game. Yeah. I think Pyre's a little bit better, has a little bit more to it. But let's keep Pyre for now. We'll see if it ends up making it or not. All right. So speaking of games that came out last year that we enjoyed quite a bit, first of all, before I even say, what a fucking year for PS4 exclusives.
Yeah, I gotta say,
what is going on here? But What Remains of Edith Finch, another game by the guys at Giant Sparrow, who did Unfinished Swan. I really like this game a lot.
I don't think
it's not going to make it.
I'm a big fan,
Not only because the Unfinished Swan, I think, is a better game, but
we're going to try to narrow down to 15.
We're going to get 15. We're going to try to we already have a fat list here.
Yeah.
So
we're going to make it a little easier for us.
Game that I have a lot of love for on PS2 is Guitar Hero 1.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero 1, the original, just came out on PS2. I have really good memories of this
Was that the first one you played?
That was the first one I played.
No, I remember the first one I owned was Guitar Hero 3. Because I didn't jump onto it right away. Yeah. And then I remember getting Guitar Hero 3 when it first came out.
Yeah.
And my mom bought it. I was supposed to get it for Christmas and everything, but I found it and started playing it before Christmas.
Nice.
And then I would box it back up and put it back in the closet.
That's awesome.
But Guitar Hero 1 was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, they got better as they went on, but as a PlayStation...
2 is one of my favorites.
2 is incredible, but that was
PlayStation. Exactly.
Guitar Hero 1...
Great.
Yeah. I love the original. I don't actually think it's going to happen.
It's so tough because, when you want to talk about... It's so interesting because we can make different lists. We could be important games, and Guitar Hero would definitely be on but then.
But we're talking about our favorite 15 games,
exactly.
The best 15 as told by us.
Because the next one might.
And it's tough, and even though they go this is on the list.
I think we all agree. This is one of the best.
The last one that we have on our list is Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. And when we were going through reading them off in the beginning, I had left this game off.
Yeah, good thing you remember.
Yeah, I remembered it midway through, and
I saw you write it down. I was like, I couldn't believe we forgot it.
So all three of us are huge fans of this game. One of my favorite RPGs, pretty much ever. Honestly, it's a very, very good game. So let's leave that for now. I'm going to count the number of games, and then we're going to have to figure this out. We got Gravity Rush, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4, Crash Bandicoot 2, Gran Turismo 3, Ratchet & Clank Crack in Time, Jak 2, Sly Cooper, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Last of Us, Infamous, Little Big Planet 2, God of War 3, Unfinished Swan, Journey, Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII, Bloodborne, Demon's Souls, Persona 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Silent Hill 2, Nier Automata, Pyre, and Ni no Kuni.
Is that 32 games?
It's 32 games.
Stupid. What the heck? What do we do?
First of all,
every time.
Let's dig right into we have 3 Metal Gear Solid games and we have 3 Uncharted games up there.
Yeah,
let's try to get some.
We'll dig into this. Let's start with Uncharted. I think, personally, I don't know how you guys feel. I think 3 is the weakest of these 3. I think 2 was super special, not only for importance, but I think it told a really good story and had better set pieces. And then I think 4 did such a good job of advancing that story.
There are points though, and I totally agree, but there are moments in 3 where you're in the sand and you're just there's moments in
there's moments in all 4 of the
Mirage
games,
and everything.
Uncharted 3 is an incredible game, but if we're comparing the 3 of them, I think it's the weakest person.
Okay. The thing was Uncharted 2, and again it's Naughty Dog, but Uncharted 2 did for me what Jak did, where it's you had this first game which was so. I laugh about this all the time because I feel like they have the same thing. The first Jak and Daxter, you're in the forest, so is the first Uncharted. Yeah. The second Jak and Daxter, you're in an urban area, same with Uncharted 2. Yeah. You're back in the desert for 3 both games, So it's
they have their.
I feel like they had that thing, but I agree with you that Uncharted 2 took Uncharted 1 and made it so much better. Like, definitely. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So let's keep 2 and 4 right now.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with getting rid of either of those yet.
No, I don't think so.
And we'll do Metal Gear Solid now. For me personally, all 3 of these would be on mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But 1 is my absolute favorite. And 3, I always say, is my second favorite. 3 and 2 are like real close to me.
Okay.
But I like 3 better for the story and the backstory. And I really enjoyed 3 a lot. So let's get rid of 2. Even though I fucking love 2.
Now, you would put 2 on your 15?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's 3 Metal Gear games. That's...
Yeah, they're fucking really good games. But what I want to do next, before we start jumping into more, because we don't have many other franchises that have a lot, is I want to revisit some of these older games and just say, do they hang?
Yeah.
So when we're talking, and I'm not saying we're cutting all these, I'm saying, what do we think about this? Crash Bandicoot 2, Ratchet & Clank Crack in Time, Jak 2, Sly Cooper. Do we think all of those are going to be in the top 15?
It's so weird because those are like, when I feel like those are the games from like my childhood and like it's such fond nostalgic memories. Mm-hmm. But then there's so many.
But is that all there is? Like I was saying before too. Like I haven't played Sly Cooper in a long time, and I bet you if I went back, it wouldn't be the same.
But I know you're such a big fan of like Ratchet and Clank, and and
yeah.
Well, the thing with Ratchet and Clank compared to these other ones
is that it kept going.
Started in on PS2.
Yeah.
And it just kept going, and the best one that we're calling the best one was a PS3 game, Crack in Time.
Yeah. And the second choice was a PS4 game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's still.
I think Ratchet particularly kind of rises above the rest of that group, personally.
Because it did what I liked about Jak more than Ratchet was story.
Okay.
And Ratchet Crack in Time had one of the best stories.
Okay.
Yeah, when it got there, it had both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would propose we get rid of Sly and Jak, personally.
All right.
Let's keep Crash and Ratchet for now.
I'd be happy to see Crash on there.
I would love to see Crash on there, but if we get down to it,
I
may have to go.
I'd be happy to see it on there, though.
Yeah, I know, the heavy hitter. The thing is, you're talking about 4 generations of consoles. And
we're talking about some really fucking good games on here. I'm going to propose that Ico goes.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Out of the 3 Team Ico games, I think that's the weakest personally. Mm-hmm. You guys are right with that?
Yeah. I mean,
again, all 3 are great, but of the 3, if we're choosing one that's the weakest...
That's fair. I actually believe I like Ico more than Last Guardian.
Yeah.
But...
Really?
I do.
I would get rid of both, honestly, right now.
I'm okay with...
I'm not... I really like Last Guardian.
Shadow Colossus is the best.
The Last Guardian was a great game, but it was just like... You know what? No, it's not. I mean, I really
it's
like
a fucking great game. I love that game. But when we were looking at this list, to justify having Last Guardian on there over some of these is going to be really
what's
tough.
Interesting is like Ico and Last Guardian are probably way more similar than...
Yes.
Shadow of the Colossus is. And the things that annoy me about Last Guardian are what annoyed me about Ico. Yeah. Just that sort of...
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I like the whole thing with the Last Guardian. Ico was great and had its own thing and stuff like that. But what I liked about Last Guardian a ton is that it had all this stuff and you were like, all right, this has the same feel as Ico, but obviously it's different. Yeah. Trico doesn't exactly... He doesn't exactly respond to you as much as you would sometimes, and he pisses you off, but it has those moments, and then such a good payoff at the end. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I fucking love Last Guardian.
Of the 3... Not that these are a 1, 2, 3 series because they're all different games.
And we could have both, but I think when we start getting down to some of these, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus
is one of the best games.
It's the cream of the crop.
Shadow of the Colossus will be on this list, there's no denying that. But it's a matter of, is The Last Guardian going to make it? I don't think so. It would be close, I think, but...
Yeah.
Let's look through here. I'm going to say Little Big Planet 2 doesn't have to stay on this list. I like those games a lot, but looking at this list as a whole, I think that's one of the weak spots.
Now, how do you feel about Unfolded? I know we didn't... Or was it Unfolded or Unterrible? Or what was it? Tearaway?
Tearaway.
Tearaway, all right.
I fucking love Tearaway.
That was great.
Tearaway, I don't think could make top 15.
No, but I did a nice shout out.
Good shout out, I love that.
Because they made us... Was it a sequel or was it just a
It was a remake, but they added some new stuff.
Okay, but it was Media
Tearaway
Molecule,
Unfolded.
Wasn't it? It was the same.
Media Molecule made Tearaway. Yeah.
Okay, because I really enjoyed that game.
I love that game. I like that game a lot. That's a really good 3D platformer with some really interesting ideas. Good shout out. I'm glad we talked about that one, but it wouldn't have made it.
No.
As we're getting into it here. I think there are 2 games specifically that I know are going to hurt both of you, but I think they're going to go. And tell me what you think. I think Unfinished Swan is not going to be in the top 15.
Yeah, I love the Unfinished Swan.
I really fucking love that game, but look at this list.
I know, we're doing 15. That's okay.
It's tough. And that is such a great game.
It's such a good game. But it's going to go. I also think Gravity Rush is not going to make it. I know you really like Gravity Rush.
Make your case, bro.
I don't want to kill your baby.
Here's the thing.
Make your case.
Like, I loved Gravity Rush, but again, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, does it really stand up to some of these other guys? Like,
yeah, I don't know. But
I still want to play the second one. It doesn't make me like the game any less. Yeah, it doesn't make me like the game any less.
I hear it's actually very fucking
good.
But I'm also gonna say we're gonna get rid of Demon's Souls.
Okay.
I think again it would absolutely be on mine. Mm-hmm. I think as our list.
That was a tough one for me to like. I got into it, but at the same time, I wasn't super into it.
Right.
So I definitely agree with that one.
What do you think about Gran Turismo 3 coming off show?
See, I can see that because it was just like that was one of those games where I think I put more hours into that than any other game on this list for sure.
Right.
But if you're talking about top 15 games for PlayStation, it was phenomenal. But what makes it much different than any other racing game? It was just the fact that it was the time and place that made me love it so much.
I think that's a Guitar Hero thing too. It's like it's super important.
It was just
when it comes to.
And I haven't played any other Gran Turismo besides that. Mm-hmm. Maybe Gran Turismo 1, I think, for like PlayStation 1, but I haven't played any of them besides that. And there could be better ones. Who knows?
Because
that one was just a nostalgia trip for me, and I'm okay with that.
Because I could say something like Tekken 2, where I could be like, that, oh wow. Like,
exactly.
But I think if we're talking about our top 15 games of PlayStation,
right?
If I'm talking top 15, I'm going like story-based games.
Yeah, we're all on the same page
almost all the way,
that.
you know. So it's so it's tough even. It's like as much as I love Crash Bandicoot 2, it might not stick.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
So it's like we're currently at 21, so we need to get rid of 6.
There's like so many.
Okay.
Now, if I'm looking like bottom up, Ni no Kuni's staying.
I think Ni no Kuni's gonna stay.
Yeah. For me, Ni no Kuni is staying.
I think we all agree Ni no Kuni. Oh, yeah.
I haven't played Pyre, so you guys have to make the argument for that one. Nier,
I don't want to take Pyre.
I haven't finished Nier, but I have to say, as far as gameplay and storytelling, it's extremely intriguing, and I know you're definitely going to fight for it to be on the list. So
I think Nier should be on this list.
Yeah,
I think when we're looking at this list as a whole, I'm seeing Pyre, Horizon, God of War.
Yeah.
Are kind of on the weaker side.
Yeah, okay.
So, are there any of those 3 that we would definitely want to say we're fighting for?
Pyre would be my favorite out of the 3.
Okay.
Do
you think we can get rid of Horizon?
Yeah, as much as I love Horizon, I think... you know what, I even say I think it's even too soon to say, but I could say something about Pyre too. Or even Nier, like they just came out last year, but...
yeah, I would agree with that.
For us 3 in particular, it didn't...
I love it. Like Horizon would be like top 10.
I've said it a million times. Definitely. Enslaved is one of my favorite games ever, and it kind of has that same feel where it's like you have these mechanical things taking over nature. So it's like I looked at Horizon, and I was like, this is gonna be my favorite game ever.
That's how I felt too. It's gonna be the best game of all time.
I haven't finished it, but it wouldn't be on my top 15. Is what I'm saying. Yet.
Now the thing about God of War is I could see it. I know it's a great game, and I could see it being on a lot of people's lists. I'm not the hugest God of War fan. Neither is Dan.
I'm not a big God of War guy.
Do you think it should stay, or could you see it going?
I could see it going because
I'm just looking at this list and like what we know is going to stay on this list.
The thing is, like, because if you think about like your top 15 games that you've played on the PlayStation, not just exclusives, like it would not even be remotely close.
Yeah,
it's just the fact.
But I'm also saying the issue that we're running into is we're not making the most PlayStation of PlayStation list. You know what I mean? We're making our favorite exclusive to PlayStation console.
Kratos,
like it doesn't.
Little Big Planet with
the mascots don't have to sit there.
That's what I'm saying.
And
all right, let's count where we're at.
Because like honestly, this new God of War game looks
freaking dope.
It looks awesome.
I'm ready,
and they change it up, but
I'm
very
excited.
Sick.
Last of Us,
Infamous,
18, Journey, Shadow of the Colossus, Final Fantasy VII, Bloodborne, Persona, Resident Evil, Symphony of the Night, Silent Hill, Nier, Pyre, Ni no Kuni. We have 19.
So we got 4 off.
Gotta get rid of 4.
So the only one that I haven't played Infamous, but if you guys will make a case for that, I mean, and that's not a reason to take it off. That's
Because
it's tough.
Just because I haven't played it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be on the list. Not saying that the games I've played are the best. I mean, I only play the best games. I'm not trying to say that. I've never got around to it. Yeah. So if you guys want to make a case for Infamous, go for it.
Man, I don't know.
I don't have any experience, so it would be the first for me to take off.
I know it's really good though.
It's really fucking good.
Guys, make a case. I've never played it.
I'm totally for keeping it, but again, you're saying it because you haven't played it. So
exactly, and that's
the same way I feel about like Final Fantasy VII.
Right, that's not a reason to take it off.
And I know totally Castle. Like, are there any that we know for sure? Like,
yes. Do you want to start putting stars?
I would. Yeah,
Castlevania
you guys love, so it's
star. Shadow of the Colossus, star.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Journey Journey is a star.
I think Last of Us is a star.
Last of Us is a star.
I agree with that. I think we all agree with Ni no Kuni. I think we all have very warm feelings
for that one.
Ni no Kuni, star. Metal Gear Solid 1, star.
Uncharted 2 is a star.
Is a star.
4 too though.
Here's the thing, like it's so tough because Uncharted 2 was my favorite of the franchise, and then you have Uncharted 4, and it was one of those games where I was like, did they really need to make another one? As much as I wanted another one, it was like, did they need to make another one? And they did, and it was so good.
I know, exactly.
And you were like, God, like even the fact that they made new gameplay mechanics with the whole like Indiana Jones whip thing and like whip it through the air. It's like
perfect.
It's like, how did they make such a good franchise and still continue and make it still good? So it's like Uncharted 4, I couldn't take off just yet at least.
I feel that way too.
I get that.
It was like a Blade Runner. It was like, oh, I don't want a sequel. Like, there's no need for it. And then they did it, and it's just like,
and it was
that was good.
Yeah, like, thank you. Like, I didn't know I wanted this.
Exactly. And it's like one of those situations, and you're like, God damn, that's awesome.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Bloodborne being starred? I think.
See, that's if you loved it as much as I know you loved the Dark Souls franchise and stuff, and you loved it that much, I would say keep it.
Yeah, I give that
because I know how good.
I just think for me that's like my fucking.
Yeah, I would definitely say keep because I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But that box cover art, man, I'm telling you.
I loved it. I thought it was great. It always reminds me when I see stuff like that where like they're not facing you. You know that song by
dope, yeah.
You know the Lonely Island song where they go, "Cool guys don't look at explosions." Like it reminds me of that every time I see a cover and stuff like that. Even movies where they're like you just see like kind of part of their face.
Badass.
I think it just cracks me up.
All right, I'm just doing a little tweak
Shadow
here.
For sure.
Oh, that's getting really hard now.
Yeah, so what do we have down on the starred list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Now, if you
we need 8 more from the top list.
If you had to go between Resident Evil and Silent Hill 2, not that I'm saying you have to choose between them, but I'm saying if you're going between those two, which one would you say would make it to the list before the other?
Both controls suck. Yeah. Like the controls in both games are absolutely horrible. So I wouldn't say either of them are fun games to play.
Yeah, they're not. But what I would say about them is Silent Hill has a better story.
Agreed 100%.
Resident Evil has a much more interesting world to me.
Yeah, well, that's true.
It has that
You're in the hotel.
Is so fucking cool. Like that whole setup and all the scares and all that stuff is like so beautifully done. It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Silent Hill, the story is like way
Have you played any of them?
above me.
Like I said, I played Resident Evil in the dark by myself as a kid. So it's like that. I haven't played Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2, the whole
I like the movie.
Crazy gimmick. I never saw the movie.
The Silent Hill movie wasn't that bad.
The whole gimmick behind Silent Hill 2, what makes it so crazy is like everything, spoilers, everything that happens, it's all in your mind. Like you're creating, you created this world yourself because you killed your wife and you're like torturing yourself by creating these monsters and it's just that whole like psychological like. For me, that's scarier. Like zombies scare me, but like what's scary, I think, is like what you can do in your mind, and just like that freakiness of it. And that's just a personal preference for me.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil is actually
I could see them both on there, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think we saw either of them, but I could see them both on there. I think Silent Hill 2 should be on there definitely. I can't see Persona going.
I'd be okay. I mean, I hate to say it. I love Pyre so much, but maybe it is a little too soon to say.
I don't know if it's necessarily too soon to say, but I think
compared to
stacked up, it's a little tough. I think we're gonna get rid of Pyre. Nier, I'm gonna fight for, man. I'm not letting that one go.
I would totally let you put it on the list, absolutely.
All right.
Because I haven't finished it, but I see so much in that game that's like this could be one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah. It's way up there for me.
What's so cool is it kind of like went under the radar. Even like
it was definitely not one of those games where like I looked at it at first and I'd be like if I looked at the cover of this game, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'd pick that off the shelf and go like, definitely.
All right, so we need 6 more from this top list, which is Uncharted 4, Crash Bandicoot 2, Ratchet & Clank Crack in Time, Metal Gear Solid 3, Infamous, Final Fantasy 7, Persona 4, Resident Evil, Silent Hill 2.
I mean, I'd fight for Silent Hill 2. I really think Silent Hill 2
I'm going to put it on. I think it should be on.
I think that's I understand it's cliche. Everybody goes, oh, Silent Hill 2, but like, it's kind of like, when we talk about games like Chrono Trigger and stuff like that, or Portal, we're like, oh my gosh, everybody says it's so great.
Mm-hmm. And it is.
But it deserves it. Like, it deserves the praise. It's not overrated, I don't think.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy?
I could see it not making it.
What's so funny is like
I haven't played that one again, so that's another one of those.
Sneaking off.
It's one of those so iconic games, and like it's the same thing I had issue with God of War, where it's just like
there's like
so iconic.
There's like what? There's like 15 of these games.
Yeah,
there's a lot,
and a lot of them are not good.
Including all the extra ones. So it's
a lot of them are the best.
I'm saying like this one makes so much of an impact. Like
it made a bigger impact than any of these other games, no doubt about it. But it's a matter of what is our favorite.
That's true. Final Fantasy, the important games on here, Final Fantasy VII
it's up there with Metal Gear Solid,
hands down.
Those are probably the 2.
Yeah, that like changed video games forever.
Yeah. But I don't think it's gonna make it then.
The first 10 hours of that game are incredible. You're in this oppressive totalitarianism like world where corporations run everything. And it's crazy, and it's got this like deep like story, and then you leave that, and then I feel like it like loses all.
Dan, we're cutting it.
We're cutting Final Fantasy 7. Jesus,
it's gone. Final Fantasy 7's gone. All right, so with Final Fantasy 7 gone, we need to get rid of 2 more on this top list. Okay. And the top list is Uncharted 4, Crash Bandicoot 2, Ratchet & Clank Crack in Time, Metal Gear Solid 3, Infamous, Persona 4, and Resident Evil.
All right, so
we need to get rid of 2.
Yeah, what I think pick the 2 you would get rid of. I would say my 2, and you say your 2, and see if any of them.
Okay.
If there's a game on all 3 of those lists.
That's genius.
All right, that's fine.
So like, which 2? If you had to get rid of 2, what would you get rid of?
Like the weakest links, and again,
because this isn't the best of PlayStation. This is our favorites, like we've been saying. So it's like
this isn't fair because
I have my 2.
3 games on here that I haven't played. I haven't played Infamous. I haven't played Persona 4.
But
that's true. I know enough about it.
It's not even that you know enough about it. It's the same reason that Bloodborne is on here, even though neither of you have played it, is because you know about it and you know how much I care about it. You know what I mean? Like that factors in.
The 2 I would take off.
We'll go down the line. What do you got?
I do Infamous and Resident Evil.
See, I fall into that thing too, where there's a couple of games I haven't played, but knowing what kind of games they are, like I would probably get rid of Resident Evil and Crash Bandicoot 2, honestly.
All right.
And I would get rid of Infamous and Uncharted 4.
Oof. Do we have any ones that line up?
Yeah, we have 2 Infamous and 2 for Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So we could. If we're doing it, that's what we're doing.
Is that what we're doing?
What do you think? Infamous and Resident Evil? Fuck, dude.
I know, it's tough. Because I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3, but I know enough about them that it's like that game.
And Dan, I know you love the original Resident Evil, and
I don't know. It's gone. Resident Evil gone. And we're saying Infamous gone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fuck. Alright. We have our 15. So what we're going to do now
we gotta order
is we're going to take a short pause. We're going to write all 15 down, and then we're going to just put them on the table, and we're going to get them into a 1 to 15 order. All right?
Yeah.
So we'll take a break now. We'll be back in just 2 seconds for you guys.
Take a pee-pee, and we'll be back.
All right, so we're back. We have 15 games here on Post-it notes. I'm going to read them out, no particular order, and then we are going to rank them from the #1 PlayStation game of all time to the 15th best. So, Silent Hill 2, Nier Automata.
To the 14th loser.
Shadow of the Colossus, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, Journey, Metal Gear Solid 1, Persona 4, Last of Us, Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, Uncharted 2, Ratchet & Clank, Crack in Time, Crash Bandicoot 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. All right?
All right.
So, we're going to argue about this. We're going to figure it all out. But what I want to propose is there are a few games that we definitely could say are near the bottom of this list.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. I could see that there are a few
you can foresee
that should at least be in this area. Okay.
On your crystal ball?
Yeah, I can foresee it. I think Ratchet & Clank is going to be down here. I think Crash is going to be down here.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that they're both on there, though. I think it's important.
I could see Silent Hill being around there.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni is a great game, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not up there with some of these guys.
Now, between the two Metal Gear Solids, you said 1 was your favorite, right? So that would be higher.
Yeah,
than 3? Okay.
Yeah, and we'll figure out that.
Yeah.
I just think we just want to get them in the general vicinity, and then we
Same
can,
with the
we can
Uncharted.
argue about
I would
them.
choose 2
like
over
this
4.
one does not belong here.
No, Summer Night needs to be higher. Yeah.
For now, yeah, that's fine. All right. So at least we have a loose association over here.
Okay.
We could start down here and basically say, do we think Ratchet & Clank or Crash Bandicoot 2? So Ratchet, which is a Crack in Time.
I would choose Ratchet over Crash.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Crash being a really good number 15.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's perfect.
It was it was one of the ones I chose.
I think Ratchet can follow it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Nier should be this high. I think it's not gonna be bottom 5, but I'm not gonna leave it up there.
Okay.
I'm also gonna swap Metal Gear 1 and 3 for now.
What about Journey? What do you think about Journey?
I think Journey should be a little bit lower. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I would switch it with Last of Us.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Yeah,
actually, just for now.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted 4, I think, is a little too low.
I put Uncharted 4 above Ni no Kuni and Silent Hill.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Honestly,
yeah.
Like right now, I and this is my opinion. Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet & Clank, Ni no Kuni, Silent Hill. I think they're all in good places.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like a nice.
Yeah.
You know,
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little 11 to 15.
Yeah.
So when we start getting into the big ones, right? I want to talk first about. So I think we can all say Last of Us, Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear, Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Those are the big contenders, right?
I feel like those would be like a top.
I could
top
see
5.
those being way up top.
Even Uncharted 2.
Possibly. What I was going to say is I think Bloodborne should be in that range with those guys.
Okay.
I'm not saying it belongs like number 1 or 2, but saying
would you put it over Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And but more than Nier as well.
I would put it above Nier. Yeah, but Nier for me is pretty way up there too. But I don't want to. I don't want to monopolize what I'm enjoying.
Good for Nier. It's the only one from last year that made it.
Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Wow. A lot of
seriously.
A lot of close
Good
ones.
For Nier.
Well, Bloodborne was what?
Bloodborne's 2015.
Okay.
Or even 2014. I don't remember. But
Uncharted 4 better than Uncharted 4?
I think so.
Okay.
For me, I would have Persona 4 pretty high. But I think for us as a whole, I think that's a pretty decent spot for it.
That's a good place. Yeah.
Maybe,
See, I personally might have Uncharted 4 over it, but again, that was just because I love the Uncharted series. And
yeah, ditto.
I loved Persona, but I wasn't as into it as I was that series.
Right.
But to have either Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 4
right.
up in that top range, I would go for either, honestly.
Okay.
Journey's really, Last of Us, I like that top. I don't think Uncharted 2 is the top game, but
yeah, but
that's a good top 5.
That top 5
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything that we would try to bump down a row immediately? Anything that comes to mind that you're like, I would bump?
Well, I think Journey could be higher. It's up to you guys. I think Journey could be above Metal Gear 3 and Nier. I think.
Yeah.
I know how much you love Nier, and I thought Nier was great too. But
I could see that. I could see Journey at 7. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I could see Journey there.
I don't think it can bump Bloodborne.
Now I know Symphony of the Night that's one in the top row that I've never played. So
okay.
If you guys feel that strongly about it, I have no problem keeping it there.
I think actually it's a contender for the top spot.
I agree too.
I'm not saying it is the top spot, but it's definitely a contender.
Like the 5 up there.
You could see being number 1.
I could see any of these being the greatest PlayStation game.
Yeah. I think personally, Uncharted 2 is the weakest of the group.
Okay.
But
I'm okay with that. I think Shadow of the Colossus, The Last of Us, and Symphony of the Night would be, and just because I haven't played Metal Gear, but I think Shadow of the Colossus, Last of Us, and Symphony of the Night, pure if you're gonna try to look at everything that they have, music, art style, just story, and just like importance, like those.
See, I agree with you on that, and the one reason, like, I know, what'd you guys choose? The Last of Us was like Game of the Generation or Game of the Year or something like that, right? So, you would think it would go right away, but...
Hold on, we have to cut that out.
Why?
Because this one might come out first.
Of what?
We didn't do that yet.
Game of the Year?
We didn't Game of the Generation.
We didn't do that?
Oh, that one didn't come out?
That's
God damn it.
Sorry, Shelby. Do you want to indicate that somewhere? Do you want to mark a time code or something?
No, go right back to it. So, I don't remember what I was saying.
We could just say, I mean...
No. You said you never played Symphony of the Night?
Yeah, so I haven't, but one thing I would say about like this top list, looking at that, is you would think The Last of Us would go really, really high, just because it won so many Game of the Year awards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I look at that game and I look at Shadow of the Colossus, and there's a reason it keeps coming back, because the replayability of that game is remarkable. I think I've replayed The Last of Us maybe one more time. Yeah. And that was just because the definitive version came out.
Right.
So it's like, that's not a game I would go back and keep playing over and over again, but Shadow of the Colossus is, in my opinion.
So the trouble that I get into with that line of thinking is that not all games are meant to be like that.
Yes, of course.
So it's tough to use that as a qualifier.
Yeah, because you look at the end of that game and you're like...
Exactly.
I completely agree with what you're saying there.
But I get what you're saying regardless. The problem is, I've probably played Symphony of the Night 10 times.
Yeah, that game.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's so great with Symphony of the Night is it does have that replayability where it's just like you can just pick it up anywhere.
Because I know for a fact I've played Uncharted 2 probably like 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, and not that it's a collectathon, it does have those collectibles, but that's not the reason I played it.
The Uncharted games for me, and again, I don't want to get too in the weeds with this line of thinking, is I don't think I've ever replayed the Uncharted games. I played all 4 of them, and I've never played them again.
I've only played Last of Us once.
I played Last of Us twice, but
again, the only reason I did was
most.
Because of that definitive version coming out, and me being an idiot going, oh yeah, I need that.
No, I definitely.
But again, that doesn't make a game the best.
Well, you could even say I played it once, but it was that powerful the one time that's...
Because how many times have you gone back and played any EA game? I'm talking about sports games, not
I figured
not the ruins one.
It depends how good the first Metal Gear. It's so frustrating because I've never played the Metal Gear games.
I wish you guys had played.
And sometime in the near future.
Yeah, but there's a reason there's so many Metal Gear games, obviously.
Right, of course. And Kojima is just one of the coolest people.
Yeah. Oh, you know?
I know a person. I just had him over for dinner. It's really cool.
Good person. I'm having a hard time because, I mean, the cool thing, what we're doing right now is these two are on PS1. Mm-hmm. This is on PS2. Yeah. This is on PS3.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool that we're at least spanning, But,
if you had thoughts between Metal Gear Solid 1 and Last of Us, not saying
if you're talking
that you
to
should change it, because I know you're the one who's played both of those games.
Me personally, Metal Gear Solid 1 would
swing over that.
And better than Symphony of the Night as well. You like Metal Gear 1 better than Symphony of the Night?
Yes, but I would put Symphony of the Night above Last of Us. And that's a tough thing to say. I think... For me personally, I think Shadow of the Colossus is my number 1.
Yeah, it could be number 1, actually. I'm totally okay
personally,
with that.
For me, but I'm not saying that that's definitely where it goes. Yeah. I'm just saying my order would probably be that. Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear Solid 1, Symphony of the Night, Last of Us. But But that's my order. That's not our order. Yeah. You guys think a lot more highly of Last of Us.
I love The Last of Us. Yeah. But if I'm talking about like games that I've had more fun playing, I enjoy playing Uncharted 2 more than I enjoy playing The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. But I know that The Last of Us, it is a better game.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what we're talking about, really.
Yeah. It's a better story,
fun,
definitely.
I mean, it's a phenomenal
Shadow
story.
of the Colossus for fun? I don't think it's very fun.
No, it's not very fun.
But there's something very, very unique about Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, it's something unique about all these games, but something like... It's something that you can't like tap into with Shadow of the Colossus.
But that's the thing that's so great about like playing a game like that, or watching like an indie movie. Say, I know you just said you watched Primer and stuff like that. It's just like there's something about those small things that just like it resonates within the person.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like
and that's why this game has always meant so much to me, is because it makes you feel a certain way that you don't get otherwise, that you don't really get like ever.
Yeah, no.
Really, like it's really interesting, and I've always had a feeling about that game, but I could see The Last of Us bumping up more. I know you guys haven't played Metal Gear, so if we're talking about our list, I think I could see either The Last of Us or Symphony of the Night taking the number 2 spot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I could see Metal Gear dropping to 4.
Oh, that's tough, because Symphony of the Night, I have fonder memories of Symphony of the Night, just because that game is just so big and so expansive, and there's just so much. It's beautiful. It's entertaining. Mm-hmm. That story in Last of Us, though, is
incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
It is. That's going to be the tough spot, because I'm fine with Metal Gear going to 4 for the sake that you guys haven't played it. And to be honest with you, when and if you do play it, you're playing it, almost 20 years later. Yeah. It's not going to resonate the way that it did back then. But you will still appreciate it. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, like, it's not going to hit you where you're going to say that should be number 1 all of a sudden.
But then I feel like you can say the same thing with Shadow of the Colossus. What I'm saying is you can't say the same thing with Shadow of the Colossus. We're like, it came out 2005 and you played on the PS2 and it's absolute crap, but like there's still just something...
Well, I think the difference between Shadow of the Colossus and Metal Gear is that we're talking specific story in Metal Gear. Mm-hmm. We're talking like events occurring, similar to Last of Us. Yeah. It's more of a movie.
Remember when that happened?
You know what I mean?
That moment? Yeah.
In Shadow of the Colossus, it's like there's an indescribable thing.
There's a feeling
to it.
Yeah.
It's not about the moment-to-moment story. Mm-hmm. It's when the first flying one you get to, and you have to shoot it with an arrow, and it's flying right at you. Yeah. And you jump just in time and grab on. It's like there's something like weirdly it's like emotional. It's like really weird, but it's.
Well, I say it all the time. 'Cause Shadow of the Colossus, I think, takes Symphony of the Night, you're going around killing people, and Last of Us, you're going around killing people, and a lot of these games you're just going around killing people. Shadow of the Colossus, it does such a good job with balancing that. Yes, I'm gonna beat this, and then that instant remorse, like, that's like a yicky feeling. That's like, and like that's why Shadow of the Colossus is just so special, because here you are as a gamer, even though we don't like that term, but you get enjoying video games, and
there's nothing wrong with that term,
and you're playing.
I fucking hate it.
You're playing.
I hate the term foodie. I think I hate that term. So
yeah, no, I know what you're getting.
You know what I mean? It's just like it takes it on its head, where you're just like, okay, well, my objective is to kill this beast, and it's tough, and you finally do it, and you're just like, yes, and then you just see like this poor creature like writhing, and you're just like, oh, that was yicky that I even wanted to like do this. It's just
yicky. Like, I know. He said it twice.
Yeah, no, it hits that. It hits that human. That's what makes us human.
It's the why.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
All right.
I know what you mean.
Shadow of the Colossus would be my number 1.
It seems like Shadow of the Colossus is going to be our number 1.
I think so.
I
would. Again, we're talking personal lists. I would put Last of Us as 2.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't played Symphony, so that's my reasoning.
Yeah, I could see Last of Us being 2 as well. I love Symphony of the Night. And...
there's one thing I want to ask though. Let's put Last of Us at 2. I would have Symphony of the Night higher, but I think as a whole, as our group, I think that's a good list.
And that's just a are perfect.
That's just a I want Bloodborne to be number 5.
Really? We're gonna try it. Give your pitch.
I just think that the thing about, and I talked briefly about Bloodborne and about how the crazy stuff that it does, but it does so much in the way that we talk about Shadow of the Colossus. It has that DNA in it of the fact that it's like it doesn't give you specific like feelings and plot points. It's like it's just there's some things that happen in that story that are just so unsettling or so like bizarre where it's like I don't understand really what it's going for, and then you think about it and you're like holy shit, like it's a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's where it separates itself. And that's why when I talk about all the Souls games and how much I love them, and that's why I put Bloodborne so high in that ranking, is because it does so much more than just your average Souls game, you know? And I know Uncharted 2 is an excellent game, and it deserves to be on this list, just like Uncharted 4, but I personally have always held the Uncharted, and I know, like, you know, we made concessions for, like, what, like, I want Metal Gear way up, I was down, whatever, but for me, Uncharted games have always been really great games, but never my favorite games. And I know the two of you disagree with that because you both would say that they're some of your favorite games.
Yeah.
But when I make a list of my favorite games of all time, I don't have the Uncharted games on there. Even though I know they're great games, I do have The Last of Us on there, and that's why it's up so high.
Yeah.
But like for me personally, Uncharted would be around this area in the 10s. You know, they would be right near each other because I think they're both pretty good. But I don't think they do the same thing that some of these games do. Okay. Of why I really love a game. You know, like but some people like I'm not disparaging the fact that you come to games. It's really fun to play. It's a fun action pulpy story. And it's fucking perfect, beautifully made, not a hitch in there, like it's great, but it just doesn't have that pull for me that I get from something like Bloodborne or Nier, you know what I mean, where it's like these games are doing something on a deeper level that make me want them more. You know what I mean?
No, I can understand that.
And that's not, I mean, it could stay right where it is for all I care. I'm just saying, me personally, it would probably be Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear Solid, Bloodborne, Symphony of the Night, Last of Us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that would be mine.
I can see. I mean, Uncharted, I love them. It is that sort of, like, superficial on the first surface kind of thing. You know, it's just like an action Indiana Jones.
And it does it perfectly. That's why it's on this list.
It's so good.
But that's why it's here, because it does that perfectly. But when you're talking about, like, something, you know what I mean? Like, there's something more.
See, that's my problem. I've never played Bloodborne. Other than watching
that's the only problem.
Yeah. We can leave it.
I'd say Uncharted 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Uncharted 4 was the best.
Really?
Of them, yeah.
Yeah. I'm close between the two. I still think 2 is better, but I think it was just because of how different it was from the first one.
Yeah.
I just felt like when I first played Uncharted 2, I remember I gotten it for Christmas. And I had to go back up to college early for track, and like I was all by myself in the apartment, and I grabbed the game and I took it with me and I put it in, and for the 5 days I was there by myself, I couldn't put it down. I was like, this is the greatest game I've ever played at that time. So it was just like, I have such fond memories of it, and I really thought it was like, it played so much better than the first one. The graphics upped completely. The story was way better. So it was like, for that game to, as much as I love Uncharted 4, Uncharted 2 is, me, the better one. And I definitely understand where you're coming at with the Bloodborne thing. The only problem, as we said, is neither of us have ever played it. So
and this is our list.
That same thing.
List,
that's the problem.
So we can leave it. I just, man.
I'd be okay if you wanted to put Metal Gear Solid above Symphony of the Night.
I think for our list, that's where it should be.
Okay. I mean, this is where I'm a Castlevania nut. So you know, for me, my favorite video games of all time list will have 5 Castlevania games. Like I love them. So, like I love.
But that's why obviously everybody's lists are completely different.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I mean, first of all, the fact that there's 4 Naughty Dog games in this top 15.
I think Naughty Dog won PlayStation.
So it's like, I think we've given them enough props in this list to begin with.
That's true.
So, but so.
All right, we can leave it. Are we happy with this middle row? You think it's where it should be?
That's what I gotta look.
We got Bloodborne, Journey, Nier, Metal Gear Solid 3, and Persona 4.
I definitely liked Nier more than I liked Persona 4, so I have no problem with that. Journey I definitely enjoyed more than the other ones.
I know how much you guys love.
Yeah, so I have no problem with that row, honestly.
Okay. And then Uncharted 4, Silent Hill 2, Ni no Kuni, Ratchet and Clank.
I think those three especially round out the list pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, like those are like some of our favorite, like good nostalgic. You know, maybe not even nostalgic. Like Ni no Kuni didn't come out that long ago, but it's got that that nice sort of like those fun. Those are fun games. Those are like fun games to play.
Definitely,
very fun games. And it depends. It's kind of like what we like in our video games. Sometimes you just want to play something that's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Or sometimes you want to play something where you could think about for 7 years afterwards and be like, oh, I remember when I did that. I feel terrible.
Can't wait for the remake.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have our list here, guys.
Let's do it.
This is the definitive circle back top 15 PlayStation games of all time. We got starting with 15. Crash Bandicoot 2, 14, Ratchet & Clank, A Crack in Time, 13, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, 11, did I say 13? Oh god, 12.
13, now we're on 12, yeah.
We're going 1 to 15. Alright,
the top game.
Number one game of the PlayStation history. Shadow of the Colossus, number 1. The Last of Us, number 2. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, number 3. Metal Gear Solid 1 at number 4, Uncharted 2 at number 5, Bloodborne number 6, Journey number 7, Nier Automata number 8, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater at number 9, Persona 4 at number 10, Uncharted 4 at 11, Silent Hill 2 number 12, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is number 13, Ratchet & Clank, Crack in Time, number 14, and Crash Bandicoot 2 at 15.
What a list.
Pretty good list.
Yeah.
Go with that list.
All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for today. As always.
Thanks to Shelby doing double duty today.
Shelby, we appreciate you. He's producing.
Let me out of my production cage.
He's finally allowed out. But yeah, you can catch us next week, every Monday, 9 a.m. And until next time, peace. What's up, guys? It's Dan from Circle Back. I'm just here to let you know you can find everything that we do at CircleBackGaming.com. If you just want the podcast, we're on iTunes. If you just want the video, we're on YouTube. So catch us either place. Thanks.
Perfect.